With me via telephone is a good friend of mine. He just released a brand new album, ladies and gentlemen. Album is taking off like crazy. Album is entitled Ashrecha, features some amazing new music. It's like Eitan Katz is reintroducing us to Eitan Katz with this new sound and some amazing new music. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Eitan Katz.
Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hello.
Hello, Reb Eitan. Shalom Aleichem. So, me and Eitan were talking before the show, and I really believe that you kind of broke the mold of what people consider Eitan Katz music to be with this album alone.
You know, it's true, and I should amend that statement tiny little bit, okay. I guess, because I think that with every project that I put out, what you're aiming to do is to keep your customer base and increase it. You know, keep the listeners that you have happy, but also try to find a way to reach more listeners and more people that would be enjoying and listening to your music. Now, so you'll have, say, if you go too far out, then you're going to lose, you know, and it's not even in my thought to go anywhere but where I believe, you know, Jewish music should be. So there's plenty of, if you want to call it, you know, my style, Nigone Manet, the Verbrengen, the Kumsitz, the
Nigun Chazak, Nigun Cheshek, 100%.
I'm saying all the slow songs that are very inspiring and very moving, Baruch Hashem. And there's a couple, like maybe, you know, a couple of songs that I allowed myself to open up musically a little bit without losing, like, you know, the commitment to my mission. And, you know, open a little bit to try to see just, you know, for myself, what I'm, you know, I'm capable of doing and what I'm able to do to reach a larger crowd. And again, it sounds so commercial, but it's not. It's like, you know, there's, for example, I'm sure you're talking about the song, you know, B'fi Yesharim.
Right.
That's for sure one of the most caught by surprise songs on the album. I've never written a song like that. I've never composed a niggun like that before. And I felt that, okay, I could always just do the guitar and the you know, that kind of, I mean, that's how I wrote the song, believe it or not. I didn't write it with.
Oh, really? Really?
Of course, yeah. I ain't write it sitting in front of an orchestra. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%. I mean, it sounds like this big banded, you know, like soundtrack song that, you know, you'd hear when you're watching a film or some kind of movie or something. And I'm like, Eitan Katz doesn't sound like that to me. Yes, Eitan Katz is the wedding player, and he has a wedding album, and he's so geschmack live, and he can do the Kumsitz stuff too, but I just don't get that big full band song with him. Yeah, well, now you have it. And now you do.
And no, I'm saying when people listen to it, most of their comments, they are a little bit surprised, but they're not, chas v'shalom, turned off by it. They're like, it's kind of like, oh wow, I never knew a song can be this geschmack and have such an incredible orchestration and incredible arrangement. You know, listen, a lot of people, they know arrangers, and I mean, like they know the names in the business that arrange music, and they, you know, they do all that stuff, and they go to them. And with me, like, I didn't want to do that. Not that those arrangers aren't great. It's just that, you know, Rambam Magababayev, who is my dear friend, and we've been playing together in the band for years already. I mean, he is. I mean, it's safe to say he might be the biggest musical genius that the Jewish music scene knows. He's just an incredible musician, incredible understander of music and composition. And when I gave him this song, like, he knew what I wanted. He knew that I wasn't looking for a commercial, you know, thing just to get it out. He knew that I was looking to take this song, this beautiful waltz, and bring it an element that I couldn't do. You know, I couldn't do that. There's no way I could have done any of that stuff.
Right.
And when I heard it, I was nervous at first to see what would Taka be with it. But it was exactly what I expected it to be, like the regal, beautiful, just the words are so matim, Baruch Hashem, like to the tune, and it was I took a risk, I'm very happy with it. I'm extremely happy with it.
I think Regal explains it very well. Singer Eitan Katz with us via telephone. We're talking about the release of his brand new album Ashrecha in stores now. 12 songs in all. Now, Eitan, tell me, you've had guests in the past. Shlomo's joined you on one or two albums that you released, but this being a song so far out of your box as far as arrangement wise, B'fi Yesharim, why Benny Friedman? Why anybody at all? Why not just leave it to Eitan?
I'm so sick of myself. That's the truth. No, I'll tell you, it's. I decided before Benny came into the picture. I decided for this new album, I wanted to do. I wanted to have someone come on the album as a guest and to do songs together. Mm-hmm. And I've done Baruch Hashem with my brother. I've done with my other dear friend, Yossi Karduner, and
right.
I've done those before on other people's albums. And but I didn't, I don't. I'm not saying I chose Benny because he has such a beautiful. First of all, he has a beautiful voice, but it's more than that. He just has such a Yiddish energy to him. I love I just love his energy and his ability to really sing the words the way they're meant to be sung,
Right.
Again, anybody could sing, and I'm sure. And again, I hope to work with many more of the Chaverim, in the business in the future. Mm-hmm. But for this song, I felt that there's that type of connection that I could hear in Benny's voice and his ability to take. It's exactly what I needed. I needed a voice that is regal, that has that power, that is different than what I bring, and together. It was interesting. It was really. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know, who knows when this stuff happens if it's going to work. It's not a given, But when it came out and I actually heard it, and he really loved the song too, and that's what meant a lot to me. That he wasn't just being, I'm going to hire you to come in to sing in the studio and then that's it. He really took a liking and an appreciation for what I was trying to do, and it was really, really nice experience. It was really, really nice.
He wasn't just being a gracious guest. He actually participated and evolved into it. Yeah. And I must tell you, your voices blend extremely well. It's like you can take away the music. You can take away the music, and I would still enjoy listening to just the harmonies of the two of you. You can tell you're really into the song. It's not just a performance in the studio.
Listen, everything that I wanted to accomplish from doing a different orchestration and B, bringing in somebody that can complement, that we with what I bring to the table, with what he brings to the table, to come in a harmony that works. I couldn't have asked for anything better. So I'm very grateful for that.
Mm-hmm. Morty Stark on Twitter just sent me a message. Can you ask Eitan about a picture that went out on social media about 8th Day and Eitan Katz together collaborating on something?
Yes. That collaboration is. We started. You know how it is. We start something, and I get busy. This was more. Everyone's busy, but there is a song that I was working on with Bensi. Mm-hmm. A really cool song. Again, this is another attempt for me to try to. I think it's a certain level of challenging myself to get out of my element a little bit, see if I can hold on to my element in not my element, if that makes any sense to people. I can't give you a date or a time, but it's definitely on the tracks have been laid down already. So
you're saying it'll be on a future Eitan Katz project?
Whether it's a single, whether it's a CD, I have no idea. But there is happy people are following, to ask that question.
100%. You released a single, Forever Grateful. What was it called?
Yeah.
Was that featured on this album?
No. No.
So what's Pshat, Eitan? Why haven't you found a home for this song? This is like the first album you released since that single. Why didn't it fit on this album?
Well, no, first of all, Forever Grateful, I'm pretty sure was put on the Pure Simcha album, the wedding album. There were a couple of slow songs there. Yeah, I'm sure. I think, yeah, it was there.
It was thrown together.
But it wasn't, it was, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a very, very special, Yeravna also, Baruch Hashem, is a very, it took off that song, and that also ended up on that album. It didn't have its own album. But yeah.
So let's go back a little bit. So it's 2019. You just released Ashrecha. Before that was 2017 with Pure Simcha.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, I think was what, Live in Jerusalem in 2014.
Yeah, and Shuvu, which was in 2013, was the last album that I released of my own.
Wow. So my question is, I guess, how many of the songs of Ashrecha have been sitting around for like close to 8 years?
How many of them? First of all, let's put it like this. There are 12 tracks on the album, correct?
Right.
There are another 12 that didn't make it to this album. Not because they weren't good enough, or not because they weren't...
12, really?
Well, there were a ton. In my folder on my computer that has all of the songs that I was working on, there are a lot of beautiful, like really beautiful, special songs that for whatever reason, and it's not because they weren't good enough, not because they weren't this, that. That's just the way it worked out. So I would say that over the past 5 or 6 years, I say this, I'm not knocking myself over here, but I'm not a niggin machine. Like I don't write songs like if Shlomo wrote a niggin every time he sat down with the guitar.
Right.
Other people, other composers. When I compose, it's usually, there are those walking in the supermarket, Erev Shabbos Nigunim, but when I compose, it's usually something that, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes not effort to write, but effort to be in the right place.
Effort to be inspired enough to write.
Yeah, listen, Yossi, you know me for a long time already. The word inspired has taken on such I don't want to say cheap, but it's like another word we throw around, Like, what does inspired really mean? Like, people can mean, inspired, you're sitting around a table with candles and the kumsitz, and okay, that's one level of inspiration, but usually those types of inspirations, they last as long as what's inspiring you lasts. Right. Inspiration to me by definition means a certain energy, a certain metzias that has the ability to have a real stamp on you and make a difference. Like me being able to do the right thing in with making a decision with my family, for example, that's the right decision. With my children, a right decision. To be an Erlich Yid outside of music, outside of everything. To go to shul and to see people that are real of the Hashem, and to be, I use the word inspired, but to have a like, those are the kind of like real life stuff that happens around me that, and with Baruch Hashem, the past 5 years, like, I'm not saying, I say this with a lot of, I thank Hashem for being very busy and running around, and, it's like it's a process. It's not just bam, bam, bam. Okay, I have a CD I have to write. Let me go into a room now and write a new CD. It doesn't work like that by me.
No, 100% not.
There's 1 or 2 songs in the album that were written 2 months before the album came out, and I just threw them on because I felt like, this is the right one.
Right. It's actually funny that you're saying you're not a niggin machine, because I'm browsing here through my Eitan Katz albums. Every album has at least 1 niggin, and the new one has 3.
Yeah, when I say nigga, I don't mean the dafka nigunim without words.
No, I know. But Eitan, why 3? Niggin cheshek, niggin chazak. You've never had 3 nigunim on just one album. Why now?
Let me ask you a question. If you were sitting here with Rav Shlomo Brazil, or of the composers that lahavdil, aren't around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you would ask the same question. Why, if Rav Shlomo was putting out a new CD and he had 16 nigunim on it, like no one would question it. Why? Because that's just what he does.
I hear.
So
no, it's a good answer.
I'm saying what's happening over here is that I'm constantly rolling in between the commercial world and the MS world, and it's very difficult for me to do that because I don't want to. I just want it to be Hashem's will, and that's it, and finished with. But I say you have to make a parnas. You have to put together a package that works for people. And I felt like these, I want people, like, to me, I couldn't care less if these nigunim are sung at a second dance set. As much as I care, I walk into a shul and I sing my niggun for the Chadaydi. That is what I care about. That is where I feel like, okay, so my song had X amount of hits on YouTube. That's very nice. Don't get me wrong, and I appreciate it.
Right.
And my bank account appreciates it also. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's important. But Lamaisa, when I'm sitting there and people tell me from all around the world that they're using my nigunim for Shani Yom Kippur, like that's when I get really humble and really. Like, I look back and I don't ask that kasha of, like, why 3 nigunim? Why not this? Nowadays, every city has to have, it's almost like a format. There has to be a song in Hebrew. There has to be a song in this. There has to be a song that's good for this part of the wedding. And it's all fine. It's all good. But I'm just not operating on that platform. And I say this real with anava, and I'm just telling you what I do. Like, I don't, it's just...
No, I mean, I know you personally, like you said. I know you a long time. So, I know you're definitely not like that.
Yeah.
Funny thing, I just went to your website. It's under construction, but these pictures here are amazing. And it proves that you're very different than everybody else.
Yeah, like that whole photo shoot that I did was like, it was like going to the dentist without like getting a cavity without like any like anesthetics. It was like it was like you got to get it done. You have to do a photo shoot,
but it's not you, right? But it's very not.
It's like it's like, oh my gosh, get me out of here! It's like and like, okay, it doesn't look like I'm in pain in the pictures. Yeah, that's what the picture snaps a moment, but it's something that the whole push I'm making right now also with my wedding band and with overall the overall product is trying to be as true as I can to what I believe in, to my principles and Ruchnius and how it translates into music. And also at the same time acknowledging that we're in Tafshin Test, we're in 2019, and there are certain, the channels on which to reach people have changed. And it's not just, okay, so I'll just get rid of everything and I'm just going to do what I'm going to do to make money and to, Katz Hashem, that's the day I stopped playing music, but like, so these photo shoots, these videos, the music video I did with Benny was beautiful, but it's like, I can't watch it because it's like, I'm looking at myself. I'm like, who are you? Like, it's just different for whatever.
No, I totally understand. I find it funny. When I saw your social media about 1.5, 2 years ago, took a turn to actually posting stuff, and I can watch Eitan live in action at a wedding, a clip from here, a clip from there, a picture from here. I was like, this is so not Eitan, but I guess you understand that in 2019, this is what people are. Yeah.
The way it works is, you think I'm doing that? I hired someone to do it for me.
No, 100%. But they're doing,
I don't have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube on my phone. I have none of that. If something's going on, I have a wonderful, wonderful fellow Yid who works for me, who gives me direction, who kind of pushes me to do stuff. But he's learned. It's been hard. You can ask him, but it's been hard, to get me to agree to doing things. But everything has to be in a cheshbondik way. It can't just be hefker, So this is the.
It's actually funny you're saying that, Eitan. I got a message on Instagram a few weeks ago that female artist Chanala, who plays the piano, she heard your album and she videoed just her hands on the piano. She was playing B'fi Yisharim. She wanted to share it with her listeners, her piano version. And she messaged me do you think Eitan would share it on his social media? And I was like, I don't think Eitan manages his social media, but I'm assuming that the person who does, if they like it, then they and they feel it's but tznius, obviously it's not your face, it's just your hands. And 3 days later she was like, they shared it, I'm so excited. And I was like, It's Batam. It's a great song. You shared a piano cover. Why not? But that is Eitan Katz. Speaking about duets, Alat Tzadikim has definitely fastly become one of my favorite songs. How do you and Shlomo work together? I mean, now you see each other, I think, 2 or 3 times a year when you're either there doing shows or visiting, or he's coming here, which I think has happened a lot more often in the last few years. But what is it like when the two of you get together? I'm very curious to be a fly on the wall over there.
We're brothers having fun. That's what we're doing. It's
But is it hard to collab on a song because you each have your own unique style, and you all have things you like and you don't like, or?
Yeah. Yes and no. Yes and no. Again, we both, Baruch Hashem, have I would say even Shlomo, even more than me, have a real sensitivity to doing things in a way that I always like, would you play this for a tzaddik? Like, if a tzaddik walks into the room, would you play this for him? Would you be embarrassed to play this for him? I feel like we both operate on that level. And with Alat Tzadikim, we were playing a concert in Chicago years ago, and we sat in the hotel room and we just started playing, and we wrote the niggin on the right there together. It was very beautiful. It didn't have any words to it. And then a couple of years ago, we added the words Alat Tzadikim to it, and it was one of those. Things that I tried to be careful about what kind of word. I don't want to just stop and put words in that were just not empty. Chas v'shalom. All words of Chazal are deeper than deep, but right. If it fit in the niggin or not. And this tefillah was really special. Alat Tzadikim. We recorded it. We sang it at a concert together, and we put it out as a video. And it was just the two of us playing guitars. And then, we recorded it. I recorded some guitars here in Far Rockaway. I sent the files to him. He recorded some vocals and guitars there. And and we both, with this type of niggin, anything you add more than what it is will be gereah. That's what I'm, this is a classic type of niggin that, I want people to sing and to actually feel the words of the Sim Chelkeno Imahem. To feel that we in this scary, insane world, we have to latch on to tzaddikim. We have to find our rabbis, our rabbeim, our people that we look up to. The Sim Chelkeno Imahem, and be mevatel myself. And that's the ruach of the niggin. I'm not going to get any comments whoa, the guitars on that was sick. No, and if it is, you totally missed the point,
Right.
But it's always beautiful. It's always an honor to work with Shlomo, and it's really nice. It's very, very happy the way it came out.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Eitan Katz with us via telephone. We're talking about the release of his brand new album, Ashrecha, available for digital download, iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Play, Spotify, in stores now, EitanKatz.com. Although it's getting a revamp, you can still contact him. Eitan, I happen to love a lot of songs on this album, Befi Sharm, Al Tzadikim, of course, Nigan Chazak, that you released as a first single. But tell me, what was it about Ashrecha that you decided that this song should be the title track of the new album?
The word Ashrecha,
the praise.
Ashrecha means, the words from the Rebbe are Ashrecha Nar Yisrael v'Ashrecha Kacha, and the opening of the Sefer. And someone called me from Eretz Yisrael, a well-known radio personality. You did Meir?
Yeah, sure.
You know who he is. So we're good friends, and we text each other here and there, and he Baruch Hashem, he enjoys my music, and he sent me, after he heard the album, he sent me a text. He's like, he said to me, I want you to guess which niggin was it that made me cry with mama's tissues. And I said, was it Me'ayin? Was it Kikaro? Was it the same Bilibenu? Ad Masai? He's like, no. When I heard the words Ashrecha Nar Yisrael, I started crying like a baby. And I was like, at first, I was like, what's wrong with you? I didn't. And then it hit me, when he explained, to hear those sweet words of, the praise that the Nar Yisrael, and it literally translates into Jewish
Child?
For lack, not child, I guess a little bit older than child, teenager age. Like that's the Rebbe is speaking to that age, but he's not. He's speaking to me. He's speaking to you. Speaking to every single person that has ever felt that it's not the absolutely most biggest honor in the world to sit with the Sefer and to open up and to learn Torah. Like for you, I say Ashrecha, not Yisrael. Ashrecha, Ashrecha, meaning to have those words. I say in a song, Mi yitain v'niskeh, mi yitain v'nichya. Halavai, we can have a complete, a day leyayim shekula Ashrecha, a day that everything we do, we hear those words Ashrecha, and it's not. And I don't mean that as like flimsy chizuk or flimsy words like, oh, everything you do. No. It's really true. Like it's not chizuk, it's a metzius. It's like a reality that like every single thing we do in this world, there's praise. Ashrecha is not just a nice the next big hit. Right. It's the words of David HaMelech, like those who sit and learn or sit in Beis Medrash and daven and are part of Klal Yisrael. Ashrecha, that whole energy. And I felt like what better title for an album. And by the way, I hate to break it to any of my listeners, and I don't even know if I should say this, but if I had personal favorites, Ashrecha was a great song, but it wasn't my personal favorite on the album. And everybody has their personal...
Really? And yet you chose it as a title.
Exactly. And that's B'dafka to even show more that I'm not even going anywhere on a commercial level. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to do. I feel silly for saying that before. It's not that it's not my. I love every single one of these. I wouldn't give to anybody to do. I get calls, Baruch Hashem, kimat once a week. I get calls from either people asking me to sing their songs. I get calls people to sell them songs.
Right.
And I always tell them, Baruch Hashem blessed me with children. Why should I adapt?
No,
I don't go that way, and it's just the word of Ashrecha, to have that energy and to have that beauty of that word on the title. It was a big honor. It was just beautiful.
I mean, I happen to love it. I happen to think a lot of stuff is great. And for those that don't know, Eitan takes a hand-on experience. Not only is he composing the songs, but I think besides B'fi Yesharim, you also arranged pretty much the whole album. You like taking a hands-on approach at all your albums because you want your Nigunim to be the way you envision them, which a lot of singers can't do. A lot of singers don't compose, and even those that do compose one or two songs, they still will hand it off to an arranger because they're not sure what they envision the end product to be. Yeah,
and to be honest, I sometimes kind of wish that I didn't have that sensitivity because it drives me crazy because I'm the amount of work that I'm putting in. A lot of singers, I wouldn't say they're lucky for this, but it's they have, their plate is that they walk into the studio and they sing a great performance and they walk out, and that's great for them. I just could never do that. The B'fi Yesharim was a special type of song. I mean, on the album, within the songs, you have string sections that the concepts were my concepts, but they weren't arranged by me. I can't.
Horn sections on Nigun Chazak.
Yeah. There's a lot of, not a lot, but a couple of different contributors that I was very clear and careful in what I was looking for. And it's there's so many. I mean, I would tell the listener to listen to every song. Every one of these nigunim, like the slow nigunim, Kikarov is gaining a lot of, spiritual momentum right now. People are singing it. And
that's actually the song that I'm going to play you out with. Well, but before we go, what can you tell me about the song? I mean, I picked it because I loved it. It's just easy listening and beautiful listening. But what was the thought process when you were writing Kikarov, Eitan?
You want to hear the craziest thing?
Yes, I do want. This is what the whole interview is about.
Kikara was written in late November. That was the last niggin to be composed and arranged and recorded for this album. and I composed it as a nigun. I was doing a kumsitz in Detroit in somebody's house with a bunch of wonderful chevra.
Wait, Detroit? Does that mean it was in Rabbi Kranzer's house?
No, it was by a Yid, Benny Friedman. You know Benny Friedman?
Sure, I know Benny Friedman. Went to yeshiva with his son.
Oh yeah,
Momo.
So and he's wonderful, Bunny. Mama, she's always doing such beautiful things for the community, and I've been there a couple of times already. And I came to his house, and we did something, and there was an ace ratzon I felt, and we started doing this nigun, and then I was going to call it the Bunim nigun after Bunny, Bunim nigun, whatever. And then I can't. Stories always need to be like dramatic and whatever. I don't remember exactly what happened, when happened, but the words Kikar Ve'elecha really spoke to me in a way that, like, now I always say, like, nowadays, like, if I would tell you it's very close to you, to your heart and to your mouth to fulfill it, you could do it. It's not far away. You would think it's a 2019 Chizuk book, that we need these days.
Right.
Chizuk. This is the Torah Kedosha speaking. Moshe Rabbeinu himself, Mipi Gvura, is telling us these words, that everything Hashem told us to do is not as far away as you think it is. It's actually not just karov, close. It's karov me'oid. When we say me'oid and we say very, it's very good, we're not being medayik. It's not like, how do you define very good? We're just exaggeration. But when the Torah speaks, where every single word is exact, the way I felt that karov hadavar me'oid is that whatever you think it is, it's attainable to you, it's even closer than that. Wow. However far you think you're away and however difficult it is, it's closer than what you think it is. And it just inspired me. That's why the high part of the nigun doesn't have words. The low part has the words Kikar Ve'elecha, but then the high part, which kind of represents like the simcha of everybody on their level. What's close to me, what's far to me is not what's close to the other guy, what's far to him. So there's room for a person to just express that. And that's it's such a bracha that I'm able to write them again. I have a little setup in my house to record. Most of the CD was recorded in my office, and I wouldn't say most, but almost all the vocals, all of the guitars, and And with the magic of technology, you would never know it. You'd think that you had to go to some crazy, expensive studio, who knows where. Yeah. The vocals for B'Fiyah Sharm are. It's where I'm talking right now, out of my office. It's not. It wasn't in this big orchestral studio and everything, but everyone. I really feel that people say that a CD has to have 2 hits and the rest are fillers, whatever it is. You gotta listen to every one of these nigunim. And I'm not even. I doubt that you'll like every one because it's just impossible to like. But it's not about liking everyone. It's about finding the sincerity in everyone. That's what I believe you can do. If you don't like nigun cheshek, if it's not your style, then that's fine. But if someone's going to come back and tell me, Eitan, I felt you were trying to impress me with this CD, that would be like a real insult.
Yeah, it'd be like a big punch in the face. Like, what?
Yeah, it's like, and Baruch Hashem, Adheina Zunu Rachamecha, the feedback has been really special and really sincere, and people are connecting to different songs on the album. Like some people, this is their favorite, but it's 12 tracks, and every single one of them has a mission, has a Torah behind it. And I'm actually I'm planning a little mini series of maybe a series of 1-2 minute YouTube clips of explaining the meaning behind every song, because I feel like it's important.
I do. I think it's important, especially like you said, your Israeli contact over there in the media, Yisrael Meir, he speaks Hebrew. So when he's going to listen to a song, he's going to listen to the meaning of the words. A lot of your average listeners in North America, outside of Eretz Yisrael or even Europe, they'll like the song and sing the words because they know the words from Tefillah or somewhere, but it doesn't mean they understand and connect with what the actual translation is and why that has a connection to the melody.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And that's why I think I think it would be a good project to do. I'm not even just saying Pirish Amila. I'm not just saying there's a translation. Like, Ad Masai, track 11. It's based on a wonderful, beautiful piece from the Mother Rebbe. That if you don't know that, it sounds it doesn't sound like you can make sense of it if you don't know the Torah behind it.
Right.
May I and Yova Ezri. It's based on the Torah from the Baal Tanya. Like there's Sabeinu Mituvecha, the intensity at the end of the song. If you listen to it, where it gets really heavy musically, but if you don't know what my kavanos were, you're just going to think that I'm like doing like a rock concert at the end of the song. Like whatever. Even
no, you're right.
Yeah, it's what can I say, Yossi? It's
well, one thing that I know with you is music is your life. Music is your experiences.
Yeah.
A lot of singer-songwriters, which again, a lot of people in Jewish music aren't because, they don't write their own material. But when you're a singer-songwriter, you're writing about your experiences, whether you had a good day or a bad day. Music is the way that you get through it. Hashem gave you a talent, and that's the way you're going to utilize that. And if the song is special enough, then you want to share it with the world, but you still want to express what it was that got you to that thought.
Yeah.
Anyways, Eitan, Hatzlacha Rabbah, thank you very much. New album is in stores now, ladies and gentlemen. Aderet Music, iTunes, mostlymusic.com, EitanKatz.com. Eitan, have an amazing Purim.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.
Chag kosher v'sameach, if it's not too early.
No. Chag, absolutely. A Chag. We only say Chag kosher v'sameach by Pesach, but really Purim also has to be kosher, v'sameach too.
There you go. The Adla Yoda should be for the right reasons.
Exactly. It should be a moment to really just forget about everything that we know and just come Vegas and the Kadosh Baruch Hu on levels that. In ways that we never even knew existed.
Oh, and now Eitan tied it in. Eitan, have an amazing week. Thank you very much.
Kol Tov.
Kol Tov.